We can get back in.
You are muted.
We're what?
I'm trying to.
We're unmuted?
You are. They can hear you.
Okay.
Watch what we say.
You can't.
Look who's back.
Good morning. I'm so glad to be here.
Good morning. Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to
Cut Up and Sew What's Up.
I doubted you for a second. I was like, what are you calling this thing?
I couldn't do it as you.
Been gone for a week and still right on track. That's awesome. Let me just find the feed since I don't have the computer in front of me. Good morning, everybody. As Joanne said, welcome to So What's Up. We do this every Monday, and we've been introducing ourselves because for a year and a half we just didn't do that. So this is Joanne,
and this is Josh.
Hey, and that's Tony behind the scenes over there producing
right,
away.
Our producer.
Okay, audio. Of course, the audio is fine. The producer's here.
That's right.
All right.
That's not always true.
That's not always true. Well, hey.
Well, for today it is, though.
That's right. I see a handful of people jumping on. Good morning to everybody.
You mean handful? You have 23 people watching you.
A big handful.
Yes.
It's a big handful.
Good morning to all of you.
Good morning, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Don't worry, I got my sticky note.
Okay.
We're prepared.
Good.
Pat mean, this shop, the one who's visiting from.
Pat's
state.
who's visiting. Welcome. Awesome. Can't wait to see you.
Where is she visiting from?
Michigan.
Pat, where are you coming from?
Yeah, it was someplace cold.
Someplace cold.
She wanted it to be warm when she came down.
Yeah.
It's, to me, this is the weather that people move to Florida for. It's just the perfect time of
Right
year.
now.
So you're here at the best time.
Look what Denise says.
Before it gets
Congrats on the new grandbaby.
Oh, thank you.
Michigan.
Thank
That's
you.
nice, Denise. Michigan. Yeah, cool. Fantastic. So before we dive in, make sure you're hitting the little like, the thumbs up, or the hearts down below, and share with a friend. You guys have been so amazing, and we're just continuing to grow. It's been awesome. So keep doing that because we want to meet new friends and have new people find us. And
That's right.
Yeah.
We want to have to introduce ourselves every week.
Every
because
single
there's
week.
Always new
That's
people.
right. We do not know that name. That's awesome. We're doing a little something called, I'm calling it the Road to 500. I don't know what we call it, but for Ryan's Case for Smiles.
Oh, that's what we'll call it.
Road to 500. I just made that up.
That's great.
Good job.
Not bad, eh?
On the spot.
So, yes, we have our next Sewing for Charity party in St. Augustine is Ryan's Case for Smiles. Obviously, you guys know Ryan's Case for Smiles is near and dear to us. We've been doing the Sewing for Charity party since we started, for the most part. And Sherry's awesome because she's here. We know her well. We work well together. So she has kind of put in or I don't know, started a little drive for this month. And I said, cool. So I wanted to put a number on it. So our goal for this month is 500 pillowcases.
Okay. And that's for the whole month of April.
Of April.
Which is
Exactly.
beginning to end.
Which is only 2 weeks left. And we've got, don't worry, we're off to a good start.
Good.
So, and we haven't even hit our Sewing for Charity Day yet.
Mhm.
But so since the Sewing for Charity party is in St. Augustine, I just wanted to make sure you can drop off pillowcases at either location.
Okay.
We've got a tub here. We've got a tub there. We'll get them to Sherry and we'll give you a toll, like an account, I guess.
And they all
again.
go to kids. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So Ryan's, and just in case, thanks for asking that. Ryan's Case for Smiles, awesome organization. All the pillowcases go to children that are in the hospital going through some scary times.
Mhm.
They do stay local too.
And they stay as low. They do. Actually, I think they all stay local with Sherry. Yeah. So,
Oh, that's nice.
which is nice.
So if you, I think she provides kits, right?
Sometimes, but
sometimes.
for the most part,
But-
pillowcases are an easy one.
That's right. But if you happen to be one of those grandmothers who's got had a whole lot of fabric that you bought for your grandchildren and never used, this is the opportunity to get it
Speaking from
out.
experience.
That's exactly right. So pillowcase, I think honestly, what do you call it? A burrito style. I mean, it's like 3/4 of a yard and then like a quarter of a yard, a third of a yard.
They've changed the dimension.
They've changed the dimension.
Oh, they have. Good to know.
Pillows are shaped differently now, apparently. Who knew?
Who knew?
Tony knew.
Of course.
So anyway, the idea is it's not a lot of fabric, or the reason I said that. And people always ask, hey, do you take donation fabric for this and for our charities? Absolutely. We have to be kind of careful because we've had truckloads of bags dropped off. So, but if your intention is to go to Project Linus, Ryan's Case for Smiles, Dress a Girl, make sure when you drop it off, you let us know that so we can get it to the.
And I suspect that little scraps are not what you're looking for. You're looking for yardage that is big enough to make a pillowcase or big enough to make a dress.
Pieces. I mean, half yards could be used for the cuffs, but think about all 3 of those charities that I just mentioned. Kids is the focus.
Right.
So no Civil War, no reproductions, no wallpaper.
Oh, come on.
No, donate that to Joanne. She loves that stuff, which is great. And a lot
But
of
I have
people do.
enough, please.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was joking. Don't do that. Careful, right? People
Careful,
show
yes.
up.
It could happen.
Right. But the idea is it's a kid's going through a scary time. And so we're trying to make them happy. So bright fabric, fun fabric. It doesn't have to be seasonal fabric. That's good. Yeah. Halloween. Ooh, fun. But, we want it to be happy. The idea is to put a smile on their face while they're going through a not so fun time.
Right.
So you guys have always been amazing. Please register, though. That's the 26th of this month in St. Augustine. Please register. Just go to cutupandsew.com, click on the link. It's obviously free, but we need to kind of know how many people are coming, especially in St. Augustine where we do have somewhat limited space.
And I did cap it.
And we capped it. Okay, because of seats.
Right.
Yeah. So just FYI, we love it when people show up, and we're not saying don't show up. If you're in the area and you didn't register, pop in, see if there's anything you can do. Maybe there's room, maybe there's not, but just you being there is support.
Right.
Mhm.
So, but registering does help us big time. So awesome. It is National Serger Month.
Ta-da.
And Joanne surprised us this morning. I didn't know she was going to be here, which is really cool. It was a wonderful surprise. I'm going to do a little demo on sergers in a little bit. So you got to stick around though.
Yeah, because if your idea of a serger is what was produced, say 10 years ago, and that's what you've got, the sergers today are just amazing. And I just have to go in with blindfolds because I don't want one, I don't need one, but there's just this,
Makes life easier,
Makes
especially
life
for them
easy.
pillowcases.
or little girl dresses.
Oh, exactly.
But
Or for people like me who don't like to do binding, just ta-da!
ta-da.
It's bound
That's bad.
with a serger. So stick around for a serger demo. I'm just going to say easy thread. That's going to be the theme. So also I'm going to show you guys the newest, to me, the most exciting thing on the planet, the Bernina hoop frame. I got it set up right behind us and I'm excited. We're not going to take too much time on that, but I got to show you because I'm sold. I was a sit down. I was pure, but now I'm
Now you
starting
like it,
to,
huh? Yeah, I did. Josh had a class a couple of weeks ago
Everything
that
had
I
been,
went to,
yeah.
and I had the opportunity to try the sit down and the hoop frame, and I really like the hoop frame.
I
That
do
was
too.
kind of neat.
I do too. So I'll talk about that in just a second, but you're going to have to stick around. You're also going to have to stick around for the code word. See how we do that? We reel you in and then we make you wait.
That's right. There's so
Sounds
much good stuff at the very end of this show.
Yeah, that's right at the very end. Right now, nah.
Yeah, we're boring right now.
Stick around. It gets good, I promise. Okay, on my note it says make sure you are getting our emails, our text messages, which are coming soon.
Yeah.
We're going to start promoting a new number so communication is huge, especially when we have 2 stores. We're always doing classes and events and sales, but we try not to be salesy. We try to be education, education, whatever. We try to educate.
Educationally minded
there
and
you
letting
go.
you know what we've got and how
Yeah.
it might fit into your style.
Yeah, and how it can help you. Also, it helps us get feedback. That's how we communicate. So some people do emails, some people don't. Some people do text messages, some people do Facebook, Instagram. We're doing them all. And so just make sure, find the one that you're on, that you're comfortable on, the one that you like, and subscribe, follow, or whatever. Sign up for our information so that we can get it to you guys. We'll let you know the new text number hopefully next week
Monday.
or maybe even Saturday. We'll see.
Okay.
But all right, it says fabric. Show the fabric. So we actually had this panel in for just a little while, but I don't think we ever showed it on here, and it's incredible.
It's gorgeous.
It is absolutely gorgeous. I don't know. There's just so many things that pop in my head. So a lot of people look at this and they go, "This is beautiful. I don't know what to do with it." Tony's having a kaleidoscope class. That would have been amazing. Just saying. So anybody who is taking the kaleidoscope class or has done that in the past, putting that in your head because this would be gorgeous. Also thread painting. Hey, just put a border on it.
And is there any yardage that goes
So
with it?
I did not purchase the complementary fabrics for this, but we have plenty
Right.
that match it. I mean, look, it's a rainbow.
It's from Dan Morris, so we have
Dan Morris. And absolutely.
a lot
In
of
fact, some of the blenders, because we are getting blenders in at both locations, especially in St. Augustine. I hear you guys. I know you're like, is the new fabric coming? Yes. In fact, I just brought over some Stonehenge that's incredible. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's
So
usually the reaction.
excited.
It's so pretty. And we have the 108s. It's
Mhm.
gorgeous. But some of the fabric that honestly, I don't know if we ever showed on here. I love this collection. I don't know if it was actually a basic, like one that's reorderable or not, but,
This is what we have left in our house.
and I'm flying a little blind, Tony, so just make sure that they can see it.
It looks good. It looks redder than it is. But so this is the Tim Holtz.
This is Tim Holtz, right? And so part of the reason that I'm showing this also is just blenders for these type of really busy prints for panels. Blenders are the way that you can kind of calm down your piece.
Ready for the next?
Yeah.
No, you don't have to show them all.
We don't have to show all of them, but
Oh,
the
There's a
reason
have
the reason we picked Tim Holtz, perfect segue, by the way. I forgot that this is the point. For the past month, we've done staff pick of the week, and we were doing notions. Well, we're switching it up on you. We're still doing staff pick. In fact, we're always going to do a staff pick. I love it that you guys get to see the cut up and sew crew, but everybody has different flavors. We're doing fabric. So Farron chose Tim Holtz,
Which is all up there.
which is mainly up in St. Augustine, but we do have this Tim Holtz here. And so all Tim Holtz, like anything Tim Holtz in either location, will be 20% off this week. So instead of doing a notion of the week, and you had even asked about it, we're going to do the fabric pick of the week. Staff pick of the week, but it's fabric. So Farron's choice, and I mean, obviously it's an amazing one, is Tim Holtz.
Yeah.
So I'll just do it like this because there are a handful of different colorways, and
I'm look at the top of the bolts and see it says Tim Holtz on it.
Yeah, and if you don't, I mean, you should be able to tell that it's Tim Holtz. His stuff is, in my opinion, easy to spot. A lot of people ask for masculine fabric. This could fall in that.
Yeah. Totally.
But it's also creative and different, and I don't know. I love it. We do have some Halloween Tim Holtz. Absolutely. Of course we have Halloween Tim Holtz. So anyway, Tim Holtz, 20% off at both locations. Also, blenders are amazing to go with really gorgeous, busy panels and prints. And then Kate chose a fun line. Now, I think we're, what's that?
There's one more piece I didn't bring it all over.
That's all right. So, and I
Love this.
think I can just hold it up like
Yeah.
this.
It's very vibrant on the camera.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it showing the colors?
Oh, yeah.
Here, let me give you a hand.
So this is a K Facet collection. It's the K Facet Collective. It's not brand new, but I tell you, for some reason, I think people are overlooking this collection.
I don't think it screams cave.
It's very different. I think that's why I like it. I mean, I like that it's not perfectly gridded. You've got some wavy lines, but for me, it's the color combinations.
And the color combinations go with all of his standard fabrics, so that if you're using something that is cape, that these will go with it. One of the things that I was noticing with it as I was looking at it was, if you like to do bindings on a bias, look how nice this is as on a bias cut, which would look great on a border.
That would look cool.
I'm sorry,
On a binding. Yeah. So Kate, fantastic choice. We're going to do the same thing we did with the Tim Holtz, though. Any K Facet fabric in either location, 20% off. Not just this collection and not just the small one that we showed of Tim Holtz. It is Tim Holtz, 20% off, K Facet, 20% off. And you should take advantage of that. And I'm going to say right now, if you haven't been to the St. Augustine store in a little while, we got Cave.
There's some of
And
it
you
up
got
there.
Tim Holtz.
And Tim Holtz, that's right. But we got a lot of Cave. And it's really cool. And people, there are still a lot of people that love Cave. Rightfully so. That is a beautiful
Colorful.
tree panel. Yes, it would be perfect for Tony's class. Right, Denise?
And Pat says Tim Holtz is so versatile, can be modern or old fashioned.
It can, yeah, absolutely. You can blend, but yeah, it can take on its own sort of flavor or taste, depending what you put with it.
It's all
Right.
relative.
But it's very Tim Holtz. So in my mind, you can totally pick out Tim Holtz. Okay, so I just want to mention kids classes are up. I want you guys to get the kiddos signed up early because I have a sneaky suspicion that it's going to fill up because we've gotten really creative with the class, like with the projects. Like I shouldn't say they did an amazing job. Tony and the teachers that are teaching the classes. I mean, we have some really fun. What I love about it, like a skirt, a bucket hat, things that we haven't done in the past, which allows the kids to grow. Not doing the same. And if you're new, great. Pillowcases are fantastic. Drawstring bags, great way to start. Book cover, journal cover. Yeah, that's great. But what's next? So I think this is allowing us to push the envelope because we have 3 levels, 3 tiers of like
fun.
skill levels. So
Awesome.
your child. Also, your child can speak for themselves most of the time. So let them come in. I want to do that project. Ooh, I've only made one little thing before. I don't think I'm ready for level 3 skirt. So let me take a level 2 and then I can, you know what I mean? So it's kind of cool, like a choose your own adventure, which is great. So I'm really excited about kids classes. Cutupandsew.com. Call us. We can get you signed up.
Okay. That's fun.
but sign up early because they're going to fill up,
Yeah, they
which-
are small.
which is great. Yeah. And tell a friend.
Oh,
If you don't have kids, hey, that's all right. You probably go to church. You've probably seen kids.
That's right.
I bet you see a kid somewhere today. Grab them and say, "Go sew it, cut up and sew." Don't grab them. Don't.
Yeah, that could
Tony's
be
going.
bad.
No, don't. No. Politely talk to the parent. Yeah.
Hey, does your child know how to sew?
Does your no? Exactly. Do not condone grabbing kids, please. No. Thank you, Tony. And then something I'm going to just point out because we just got them in and I'm kind of excited about it.
Sound machine thing.
They're clappers. The horse
Those
Who
are
knew?
clappers.
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 Sewing and music all in the same place.
I will not sing.
Here all day.
Yeah. Before we let Joanne jump in and give you guys some actual education, clappers come in all sorts. Will you hold that one up? I need a third hand, please. I don't know which one you like or which one people like the best, but you've got choices. And what I love is they all say cut up and sew, both of our locations. Is that blurry or is that okay?
No, it's fine.
Okay,
It's
cool. I think Tony said this was her favorite. I said this was my favorite. And I think Joanne liked that one because we're all different.
That's right.
And just in case people don't know what a clapper is, would you explain? So I don't have to.
Okay, so when you're pressing your fabric, you press your fabric, and let's say you're pressing a seam, then you would put this down on the seam, and it kind of absorbs the heat, makes the seam lay flatter. It works especially well if you've got a wool mat underneath it, and you just get really nice flat seams. I have found that you need more than one. So if you're looking at that thinking, oh, I already have one, which I don't use because it never seems to be enough, then come get another one.
You don't have one of these and it says cut up and sew.
And one of them is longer too on the.
Yeah,
And
this one.
we do have one of these that's actually
longer
like
seams.
Hmm.
almost like 12 inches. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
big. And Tony pointed out, because I was asking, like, but this one's kind of weird to hold. She's like, you don't really hold it the whole time. It's all about the weight too.
Mhm.
And these have some good weight to them, which is really nice.
Yeah. And the
yeah.
nice thing about having these two different styles is it's, some people like these little grippers on the side, which makes it easy to pick them up. Whereas some people would like this better. So, you can kind of, whatever suits your style.
Yep.
And your hands.
Now available. I'd cut up and sew. Now we only have these at the Palm Coast store right now. We just got our first order in, and so we will get them to St. Augustine. But again, go to cutupandsew.com. They'll be on the website today. That's the first thing we're doing this morning, actually. What's that?
I'll take a picture.
Take a picture of them. Yeah. Or just call us, pay for it, and then I'll bring them to you in St. Augustine. So we're figuring out the whole transportation thing because we don't want to carry the same stuff in both locations.
Mhm.
So it doesn't say it, but right here I'm going to insert Joanne's turn to talk.
It's all about me now. I'm very excited.
It
about
is.
We are too.
that. So today I was trying to figure out, I got in from California last night, actually got to my house about between 8:30 and 9. And I started thinking, what can I talk about tomorrow morning? And I'm looking around my sewing room thinking, I don't know what to do. And then finally I came up with the idea of talking about batiks. And because I love working with batiks and they have such, they're just really cool fabrics, and they're people. I just want to make sure you know about how to use them and when to use them and different aspects of them, and maybe dispel a few things that false ideas that you may have, or encourage some more positive ones.
May I ask a question before you do this?
Yes.
And then I'm going to switch over and start getting ready for the demo. And I hope it's not jumping ahead, and tell me it is. Stop talking, Josh. But people often, I don't know if I want to say that they're purists, but mixing batiks and cottons.
Yeah,
Are you going to talk about that?
I am.
Okay, then
I am.
I'll stop talking now, and I'll walk over here. And
Okay.
The show's yours.
So anyway, batiks typically come from Indonesia, Malaysia, Caribbean. They come from different countries where they tend to be warmer, and they are done with a water. They are much more a water-based design that they use to actually bring about the designs in the fabric. And one of the nice things about them, And one of the things that people may dislike the most is the fact that it's a higher thread count. Now, the higher thread count allows a lot of very positive attributes, one of which is that it doesn't fray. If you're frustrated with fabric fraying, the batik will not fray as much because it's a tighter weave. The next thing is because it's a water-based process that they use, the fabric is really pretty much pre-washed and pre-shrunk. So that if you're thinking, well, do I have to pre-wash it or do I have to shrink it in advance? The answer is probably not. You may want to take a little piece of fabric and check the color, make sure there's no bleeding with it. But I don't usually do that. I have never had a problem with a batik bleeding. But if that's something you want to not take a chance on, just do a little piece to make sure that it's not going to bleed. There's also less need for starch. If you are a person who starches your fabric, you don't really need to do that because it has the higher thread count, because it's a tighter weave, and it naturally has those characteristics that you get when you starch your fabric. It naturally is like that. So you don't really have to starch your fabric. It will press really nicely. It will sew really nicely. And because of the higher thread count, you're going to have less distortion when you're sewing. Let's see. So all of the process, I would love to see this process. And I guess there's tours where you can go to the different places where they make them. You can see the process. You can see how they make them, because it's really fascinating. Where I've seen pictures where they will do their fabric, and then they will lay it out in the sun to dry, as opposed to, I don't know what the regular fabric is done, but they lay it out in the sun. So what happens is, if all those areas have rainy seasons, so if it's a rainy season, the production of the fabric will go down, and then during the nice season, then that's when they really gear up for their production of the different designs. One of the things that really made me aware of batiks is I went to a garage sale that the family of a woman who was she was a quilt designer. She had written books. And apparently, I didn't know her, but she was very famous in the quilting area. And so she had a huge selection of fabric, and her family had gone through all of her fabric, folded it, priced it, laid it out, and there was just tables and tables and tables of fabric. But one of the things that I noticed in that was that the vast majority of her fabrics were either hand-dyed or batiks. And what I realized from that is, if you're designing designing quilts or working with just kind of improvisational thing, the batiks really lend themselves to that, because they have a lot of motion to them. So for example, if you look at this fabric right here, you can see that although it's one color predominantly, it has a lot of motion to it. So anytime you work with it, you're going to have motion in your pieces, but you're not going to
Don't make people sick.
The producer is
Texture.
right on top of these things. Or texture, as Tony likes to have it. You'll have a lot of texture in it, but your color will still remain the same. So which is a factor that I really like in the batiks, because I have an appreciation of solid colors, but I don't care for them that much. I don't care for using them. I love using the more solid looking batiks, however. You can use them for hand applique. And some people have a little problem with hand applique because, once again, the thread count is higher. What you can do is you can wet it a little bit, and that will soften it. But honestly, these are all hand appliqued, and they are, I don't really have any trouble with them. They applique rather nicely. I tend to use a thinner needle, and that will go through and a thinner thread, and that will go through the batik rather easily.
So cute.
Let's see. And batiks also have a more timeless feel. You don't have the, you don't have the feel of, okay, this was a spring collection from 1997 that I still have some of. They just have this timeless ability to them, and they just have such vibrant colors that those vibrant colors just kind of last for a long time. They're timeless.
Yeah.
And they look, especially, I didn't bring any black background, but if you put any of these jewel colors against a dark background, they just really pop, and they're just very vibrant. Let's see, you can mix the fabrics. But going back to the high density thread count, one of the things that you may want to be more conscious of is pre-washing the cottons. Now, honestly, I don't do this, and most of the people that I know who use a lot of batik don't. But if that's a concern of and I don't have any problem with noticing more shrinkage in the regular cotton than in the batik cotton. But if that's something that is a concern of yours, you may want to think about pre-washing your cottons. But they go together beautifully. So this, once again, this was applique put on top. The applique was all of the batik fabrics, and they all went on top of a regular fabric square. So, and that will be. Mm-hmm.
Batiks, because of the thread count, are perfect for digital print, because digital prints have
Exactly. And that was something I was thinking about also.
I want to repeat that just in case. I don't know if the mic can pick Tony up, but batiks have a higher thread count. So she said that they're perfect to go with like digital prints because they have a higher thread count as well.
Exactly.
So keep that in mind.
And vibrant colors.
And the colors.
Yes, the colors. So like if you took this, it's a little bit too vibrant.
No,
No, it works.
I
think it works
I
perfect.
disagree.
Okay,
I
so that was. So if you put the batiks with something like this, it just works really nicely. It really crosses over the two very well.
Actually, that's better than the blenders we have with the batiks because it has that movement to it. So yeah.
I love batiks with digital.
Okay, so some of the things you may want to may want to think about is the other thing is wrong side versus right side. And it's very common to kind of look at it and say, well, how do I know?
Is there one?
There can be. And I think I brought this one. Generally speaking, I don't worry about it. I just kind of look at them and say, they're going to be this, they're close enough that if somebody looks at you and says, well, you're mixing your right side and your wrong side, and then they're not your friend.
Find new friends. I didn't think that there was. I can't tell a difference.
Yeah, sometimes what you can see, especially in some of the floral patterns like this, or something with some sharp lines, sometimes you will see that there is a difference. Maybe the edges are a little bit more modeled around, or maybe the points aren't quite as pointed on the wrong side. If you have some older batiks, you can look at the two sides. One side may have little spots on it that are dark, and those are, I think they're called dirt marks. I don't find them in the more modern batiks, but some of the older ones you'll see those. And so that's,
I've seen screen marks.
Yeah.
Screen marks.
Yeah. So they're, but usually you don't see them now. Right. So anyway, those are kind of, you'll see those in older batiks. So if you have older ones around, I know I do, you can always check that out first.
Again, I'll repeat, I was joking about donating to Joanne. That was a joke.
That was a joke.
Do not bring in
Please
that.
don't. One of the ways I tell the difference, this is totally stupid. One of the ways I tell the right side from the wrong side is when I press them, I don't press out. If I'm using yardage, I don't press out the center fold. And so, and that's especially helpful if you're making a binding and you want the binding to, to always go, to be consistent all the way across. Then I just keep track of the fold. I make sure that I consider the outside fold my right side, and that's how I put them together.
That's smart.
And so that was hand quilting. There's a couple of downsides to batik. One is it doesn't have quite the drape. You know, like I'm wearing what would look like what is a batik top, but it's made out of rayon, so it has a nice drape to it. Because of the higher thread count, sometimes you're not going to get that drape. And when you make a quilt, let's say you make a quilt out of batik and you back it with batik and you're looking at it and you want to give it to your grandchild and it's feeling a little stiff and not quite so cozy, I'm sorry.
You're stinky.
Yes.
This will look great on your wall.
Yeah.
But that is something that will work itself out with time. Just keep throwing it in the washer and using some softener with it, and then eventually that'll work itself out. I read something that said if you're having trouble with sometimes it's hard to quilt with it. If you're a hand quilter, because of that high thread count, it's a little bit stiffer and harder to quilt through. And so that's one of the, if you're really a hand quilter, you may want to pre-wash it, put some fabric softener in it. That'll help soften it up. You want to use a little bit thinner needle, which will bend a little bit more quickly, but you buy a couple packages. And but those are some of the things that you can do, but that are going to become a little bit more of a challenge. The thread weight, you can use your typical quilting thread, and you can for actually piecing it, you just use your regular 50 weight or 60 weight, whatever you typically use. And your needle, you want to use a sharp needle, and like a 75
Or 80.
a 75 or 80, which are nice ones. I will admit, on my long arm, I use a ballpoint. I was told to use a ballpoint because the sharp needles will actually split the threads, whereas the ballpoint will separate them.
Yeah, it moves it versus cutting it.
Exactly. So on my long arm, I use a ballpoint, but I do use the sharp on my sewing machine. What was your question? Okay.
What kind of needles? Yeah.
Pat asked.
Okay. I think that's all.
Well, then Bonnie says her daughter's in ballet and bringing her batiks back.
Oh, that is awesome.
Really cool.
Lucky you.
That's cool. I only know Jan. She went to and did a tour in
Mhm.
Bali, and she had, I've seen videos and things like that, but that'd be a cool experience to see
Yes,
in
it would
person.
be.
Yeah.
Oh, there was one thing I forgot, which is because of the higher thread count. I guess the whole, it's all about the thread count with batiks. But because of the higher thread count, let's say you want to use it as a binding, and you like doing a bias binding. You're not going to get as much bias stretch on a batik. So it's nice to use as a bias binding. So
Nice.
that's my last thing.
Awesome.
Thank goodness.
That was it.
That was awesome.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
That's right.
Thank you very much.
I don't
Glad
know
to
what
be
I
here.
would have talked about for 20 minutes. So fantastic.
Serger
We will
sewing
go do the
machine.
surgers, but real quick, I want to we still have 3 spots available. I'm not modeling my shirt today, but Nancy came in with another one. So Hawaiian shirt, and I'm hoping it's going to fill up before Saturday, but spots are limited.
It's May 9th. It's like a couple weeks away, so it'll
Yeah.
fill up.
That's what I'm saying, but we'll show it again on Saturday because we have study halls. What I'm
that's
thinking,
right,
but I'm
right.
thinking it's going to
Wow.
sell. We only have 3 spots, and Nancy's teaching this, and it's awesome. I cannot wait. I am going to take the class because I literally cannot ask her to make me a shirt out of
Every day of the week.
all the fabric.
This is so beautiful.
It's incredible, right?
If you're wanting to, is it hard?
I'm taking it. No.
But are you going to finish it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
You know.
goodness, this looks awesome. I haven't made clothing in ages, and I've wanted to. And this shirt looks so nice.
Yeah. So
But she did use a serger.
no
No, she didn't.
serger.
It's overcast stitch. on
Nancy
it.
uses a
Oh.
very old Bernina.
Oh, this is just an overcast?
We're trying to get her into a
It's
nice
very
new
good.
fancy one, but
Oh,
Look what
this
she
is
does.
awesome then.
this is proof that, you know what? Not everybody needs a new sewing machine. If the one you have works well and you're using it, hey, I'm all for
Mhm.
it. Keep
Right.
using it. Eventually it'll break and you'll need one. So
Oh,
can come see
really
us then, but-
nice.
she just did such an awesome job. And this is the all Florida shop hop fabric. And here's just a little
I
motivation.
pot holder.
Look how fun that is. So if you actually were one of the lucky ones that got that panel, is what you can do with it. Or you
Cool.
can make a shirt with it. I love these. So thank you, Nancy, for bringing these in. And sign up for that class. It's May, what did you say?
9th, I think.
May 9th.
It's a Friday.
It's a Friday. Awesome.
It's a great shirt. Why is it on a Friday? I can't take it.
I know, because you're teaching.
Because you're teaching there. So,
But I can't take it.
and real quick, bear with us. We're about to shake the camera. We wanted to use this camera for the demo, so don't get dizzy. Bear with us. Earthquake's about to happen, but I'll meet you over there.
Testing the earth. Yeah, we need more lighting.
I'm back. Can you see me all right?
Can they hear you? Ask them.
Can you hear me? Can you see me? We'll test it here.
Testing.
Testing, testing. Can you guys give me a thumbs up? Are we still good on the volume? Why don't I hear anything? Interesting. Before I start talking, I want to make sure you guys can hear me okay. I see a thumbs up. Does that mean yes, you can hear me? If somebody could just in the comments say, yep, we're still good. It's interesting that I can't hear myself, so. You got any comments?
Denise, put her thumbs up.
Okay. So we're still good? Okay, good. Thank you, Denise. I don't know why I can't hear. It doesn't matter. So National Serger Month, right? And what do I say over and over and over again? Do not be married to a specific brand. You can have your favorites, that's fine, but every brand has their strengths. We carry Bernina, Baby Lock, and Janome. All three brands have their strengths. Thank goodness all three brands have easy thread sergers, air thread technology. We say it all the time. The older sergers, most of the reason people stopped serging and the reason people got frustrated is because they were hard to thread. You would tie it off. When that tie or that thread would break, what would happen? You'd stop serging. Or you'd take it into a technician and be like, can you thread this for me? So that's over. And I just wanted to take a second to show you how easy it is. If you have not seen the air thread technology, it changes the game for serging. So now all you have to do is play. You can make gorgeous things like this. You don't have the headache of worrying about how to thread it. Because again, sergers are very easy to operate. It was threading. It's a nightmare. I don't remember how. So I just wanted to show you guys. This is, I'll hold it up there. This is the Janome Air Thread 2000D Professional. This is the Janome Cover Stitch. It's the Cover Pro 3000. We actually have a nice little deal going on right now. Basically, this is a bundle because this is just I'm just going to call it a serger, an overlock machine, some people call them. And this is a cover stitch. So you have two machines dedicated to different things. They do make combination machines, but you can't do two things at once. And I'll be honest with you, the price point of those combination machines, like the Bernina L890 and the Baby Lock Triumph, they're up there. So a lot of people don't want to invest all that. So this bundle, I can't tell you what it is on here because then I won't be able to sell them, but it's 50% off and you're getting both of them. That's all I'm going to say. That I can't say.
You can.
So, all right, I'm just going to do one so you guys can see. So hopefully I'll try to stay out of the way. I will say when you are using a serger, even with air thread technology, tweezers are your friends. They are. This part's easy, so I don't need to do it. But basically, you just come straight down. You go underneath the thread guide, and then here's your thread. It goes straight down. And then they've got this little hole right here. It says, do not put oil in there. That is not for oiling. This is going to be your lower looper, upper looper. So it should be very simple. You just go from right to left, make it easier too. And then all you're going to do is take your thread and you're going to feed it. I'm using a tweezer, so hopefully my hands can be out of the way. I think it's a little bit harder for me, but you're just going to feed it into the opening there, into the hole, like an inch, maybe. And are you zoomed in enough to see this little area right here? Because watch the magic. Think about this. This is where my thread is. I need it to come out of this lower looper. You used to have all of this was actually the thread path. And so you'd have to thread, you'd have to reach all up in there. Then you'd have to come through here and do this game for an hour. If you even remember how to do it. Now, you lift this magic little lever And you see it just pop out right here. Did it show it on the camera all right? Ta-da! And then literally all you have to do is put it behind. And this is where tweezers are nice because you got to grab it. Right there. And then you close it. And you do the exact same thing. Just because of time, I'm not showing you both, but it is literally the exact same thing with the left. Exact same process. And then threading a needle is just like threading a needle on a sewing machine. You literally just go down around your take-up lever and into the needle. And it does have a little threader, an automatic threader. And that's it. And then, Tony, if you'll zoom out just a little bit, because I want them to be able to see this way here. The other way.
Oh,
I want to show them the baby lock. Yeah. So again, because of time, I'm not going to show you the threading process of all of them. This is the Baby Lock Celebrate. This is their entry level air threader, I guess I can say. This is the first time in the history of the world that I've ever seen it, but you can get an air thread, easy thread serger for less than $900. That's crazy. And a lot of people were turned off from getting an air thread serger because the prices were, $1,500, $2,000, $8,000. If you notice though, same exact process. You just go straight down into the hole, do not oil, and then you hit the magic air thread button. And as you go up in size and price point, this little lever turns into either, with the Berninas, you use the foot pedal and it creates a vacuum basically, and it sucks the thread in. Or there's a button on some of the other baby locks. And then literally all you have to do, oh boy, no pressure, we're live. I didn't really test this. All you have to do is surge. Oh, look at that. Boom. I'm telling you, air thread technology has changed the game because for pillowcases, for carry quilts with sergers, bags, we do have a ton of serger classes, especially for Serger Month. It changes the game. And something I just wanted to point out, these are very different types of threads. Can they see that on the camera? Yeah. You've got the King Star Metallic, you've got like a 12 weight, you've got Orfil, so cotton, specialty thread. People are like, they come in and they go, where's the serger thread? And I say, take your pick. It's all serger thread. Sergers are different now. People aren't using the same 4 colors for everything, mainly because now it's easy to thread them so they can change their colors. Also, a 12 weight. Come on. Sergers are built to use different specialty threads now. So it's an entirely different world.
So there's 12 weight on that.
So this is, that's probably going to show up a little bit better in the camera. Am I too close?
No, you're fine.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, look at that. Now this is with the Baby Lock Applaud, that stitch. So unfortunately, there's only one actually it's a cover stitch machine on the planet that makes that particular stitch. Isn't it awesome? Just so happens what's not unfortunate is we had them. But yeah, it's awesome. But again, that's thick weight. That's a 12 weight thread. Might even be 8 weight. But anyway, it's amazing what you can do with sergers now. So I encourage you, come in and play with one. Find out how easy it is to serge or to thread them. And then all you got to do is have fun. Any questions?
Not yet.
My demo was so good that there's 0 questions.
They're all going to come running in now.
They're going to come running in. All right. Then before we jump off, I know that what time is it? We're probably way late. That's all right. You know what?
45.
Good.
We're good. I want you just to look over here. Thanks for bearing with us with the camera. Yeah, it's harder for you, Tony, than anything. You can only go so far. Okay, cool. This is the Bernina hoop frame. This is the Q16. So the most amazing thing about what Bernina has done with this is, and there's 2 types. This is the hoop frame for the Q series, and then they have a hoop frame for domestic machines. The only thing different is the carriage that the machine sits on. You're still good with the mic? All right. The carriage that the machine sits on is what makes the frames different. Actually, I shouldn't even say that. The frame is exactly the same. And here's what's cool is this just is a little piece that I'm doing. I'm not even going to spend too much time sewing. Actually, I don't even think I'm. You want me to
That's
demo it? What I wanted to talk about though is people. They want a long arm. You know, they want to do their own quilts, but they think long arms have a price point of $20,000, $30,000. Also, 10-foot frame, 12-foot frame. I don't have space for that. This is 5 feet, and you can do a placemat, or you can do a king-size quilt. Because of the hooping system, imagine like quilting in the hoop. Like pretend this is just an embroidery frame. Essentially, you have your clamps, you put your fabric in there, your quilt in there, and then you just simply clamp it down. And then when you quilt, this is my quilting space on this particular one. This is a piece that I'm doing. Once you finish quilting, you simply unclamp and then re-hoop. Just shift it. So you fold your fabric up. Once it comes over the back, this opens up and the fabric literally just tucks down in there. So the hang from the back just tucks away. It is so easy to set up. It's 5 feet. So those of you that say, I don't have space for it, well, now you do. And also it's Bernina, so it's super sturdy. And again, easy to assemble. They again, Sergers changed the game with the air thread technology. Bernina changed the game with the hoop frame. So I don't think I'm going to take the time to actually quilt for you guys. It is super easy. If you want a demo, we've got them here, and we've got the domestic frame in St. Augustine. So come in and hang out with us because they're awesome.
Okay.
Does that work?
Works. Work on this.
We're going, I'm so dizzy.
Whee! It's like a merry-go-round.
I guess we're just doing this so we can say goodbye.
No. What else is missing?
Oh, code word.
Code word.
Code word.
Don't
Thank
forget.
you, producer. Were there any questions? I obviously I'm not looking at anything. So, and by the way, if you watch this and it's after we go live, if it's not live, do hashtag replay. That allows us to see that the people are watching after the fact. Also, it bumps it back up to the top of the feed, and then you can ask your questions. That was a little wonky, but hopefully we didn't lose audio or video for too long. You guys dizzy? All right. So anytime that you come into either location and you pay with cash, you get your name on a little ticket. It goes into a cash pig or a cash cow, and we do a drawing for a gift card. Mm-hmm. If you say the code word, you get 2 tickets. So this week's code word is
Easter.
Very fitting.
Very fitting because Easter's next week.
That's right. So when you come in, pay with cash. We even make exceptions, especially if it's a larger purchase and you pay with a check. The idea is that we don't want to charge for using credit cards like everybody else on the planet is. So we just bribe you to use cash or checks. And it works and it's fun. So say the code word Easter and get 2 tickets for this entire week. All right. No questions? We didn't see anything? Well, I hope you guys are ready for an amazing week. It's gorgeous outside. So get out there, come see us, and then go home and sew. Look out the window, but do some sewing.
Yeah.
What's that? Shop Hop. That's right. We still have 2 weeks of Shop Hop. So come in and see us. We do have magazines left, and sign up for Nancy's class. It's going to be awesome. 3 spots left. That's it. Other than that, live to create.
And create with awesome color in your boutiques.
That's a good one. All right. We'll see you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.